Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this exploding gatefold card. I recently received a Halloween version from my friend Renee and I was so blown away by it. I thought, oh, I must make one of that for my YouTube video. So it has a belly band to hold it together because the inside is really full of a little exploding section. So you can see both sides of the designer series paper. And how fun is that when you open it? So poof, pops out at you. So the belly band goes on to hold it all together and it fits into a standard envelope. I wasn't able to use my beloved dimensionals because it is quite fat, but it does make it through the post. So without further delay, let me put that off to one side and I can get about the ingredients and show you how we make it. So the main body of it is 8.5 by 5.5, half a sheet of standard cardstock, and this is Summer Splash from the current in colours, and it's scored at one side at 2 1/8. We don't score both sides in case it falls in the wrong side of the paper trough, and I know those of you who've watched gatefold videos of mine before know why we do that. So that's that piece. The exploding section for the middle is a piece of designer series paper and it's 8 by 4 and it's scored 2 inches in from each end, or it's scored at 2 6. And we will get to folding that. You can actually do the cross scoring on the paper trimmer, you know, on the scoring blade part of it. But I thought if not everyone has that, it would be good to show you how you can do it manually. The belly band is a piece of the same designer series paper. This is Unbounded Beauty and it's 1 inch by 10. There are the 2 panels which go on the front, which are, again, it's 4-inch piece and it's cut at 5 1/4 and then just sliced into 2 2-inch pieces. My pattern is quite busy and I wanted to have the pattern continue over like it does on this one. So be mindful if you want that to happen, how you lay them onto the front of your card. And then the piece that goes in the middle, it's a diamond and it's 2 3/4 inch square. And then what I did was I cut out some coordinating flowers. These are the deckled circles which I cut out for the front, and then I used the Flowers of Beauty dies, this strip, and I just cut some of the coordinating colors with that. So let's get on to building and assembling and all that good stuff. So the cardstock is scored at 2 1/4. So we're going to go ahead and fold that over and give it a good press with the bone folder. Like I said, if you can score it at 2 1/8. I did say 2 1/4. Sorry, 2 1/8. Of course, all the directions and dimensions will be on my blog. And however my brain says it wrong, by the time I come to put it in black and white writing, believe the blog. Don't always believe what I say. Sometimes get a little bit carried away. Of course, I do try to do it as right as I can, but you know, sometimes a little mistake squeaks out. Believe the writing. So 2 1/8, and we fold it over. If you do it in the paper trimmer, sometimes it just depends on where it falls in the trough. It can be just that 1/16 of an inch off. So my recommendation always is to fold the other side over, butt it right up against the already scored piece, and then fold it with the bone folder, and then you know you've got an exact match. So what we'll do right now is we'll go ahead and put these 2 pieces on while we want to remember that they are dependent. Let's bring in some rolling adhesive. And quickly stick those on their sides. One on each side of the gatefold, of course. And now the pattern flows across. Nothing exploding on the inside quite yet. So let's get to that part though. So Like I say, it's 8 by 4 and it's scored 2 inches at each side. It doesn't really matter how you fold it because we're going to fold it backwards and forwards on itself to get the right pattern. So we'll just give those a little crease. And now what we need to do is create 2 diagonals across these ones. So if you leave one side closed, you can then just pull the other side down to this point and crease it. And then we'll do it in the opposite direction. Leave that one closed and pull it up to the top. And then what we need to do is, like I say, go backwards on both of those folds. So they've all been folded in both directions. So now we'll do the other side. So do it again. So you keep this side closed so you know where you're coming to. And then bring this side over and fold it up. I think this is sort of a pretty standard origami fold, but I don't actually know what it's called. And then we'll do it the same again. We'll bring this top corner up and match all the points and then fold it back on itself. So everything's got a fold. And then what we can do is bring these 2 straight pieces into each other to make a popping triangle. So all you do is push the 2 straight pieces together, and because we folded the diagonals backwards and forwards on themselves, they've got just the little right amount of give. So push the 2 straight lines towards each other and the triangles will take care of themselves. And now we've got the exploding piece. Now this is only 4-inch piece, and typically half the sheet of cardstock is 4 1/4, but you can just get more out of the sheet of designer series paper if you do it 4 by 8. But it does mean it doesn't open as wide as you want it to. And I know we've discussed that in previous videos. No one really gets a card and forces it to go all the way open. It's more important that it will fold flat to go in the envelope and not bevel than it is for someone to want to lay it totally flat. So in this instance, it works in our favor. But what we're going to do is we're going to decorate the little inside pieces first, so we'll get about our stamping. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Simply Said stamp set, which has all these lovely greetings in it, just nice and simple. And I'm going to use the Pretty and Peacock because it's highlighted here and it's just a nice strong colour to give just a little pop. So I'm going to do just a note, which is going to go on the front. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the Summer Splash, and bearing in mind this is a diamond shape inside the card, I'm actually going to stamp the little flower from Flowers of Beauty. So it's our little 2-step trick. Let me just bring in a scrap of paper. So we'll stamp the outside part of it full strength up in the top corner, and then we'll take the second stamp set and we'll stamp it off on a piece of scratch paper and then line it up and put it in without getting your head in the shot. So that's how the little flower will look. And then I will bring in the inside greeting and go back to the Pretty and Peacock, and it will say thinking of you. So we can put it there, and there's enough room left at the bottom for writing a greeting to the person you're sending the card to. So pop the scratch paper away, and we can go ahead and put the circle on, and we can go ahead and pop this greeting inside the exploding part. So the square we have left is I think it's sort of 2 3/4 plus a 16th, so it literally just fills that whole square, which is rather lovely. And we'll go ahead and finish the front, might as well. So I brought in some glue dots, and those of you who do paper pumpkin will realize I got my glue dots from a kit. They do sell glue dots in the catalogue, but when the paper pumpkin kits are so generous, why not use what you have been given? Oh my goodness. So there we go. So pop those off to one side, start in the middle, and just put them, the little rule of 3, and the whole aesthetically pleasing look of it. So that's already built from when we come to build the belly band in just a little while. So we're going to put the exploding section into the middle, but as you can imagine, there's going to be quite a bit of pulling against it. So we need to make sure that it's going to stick down. And what I did was I put tear and tape on the square on the back. Actually, I think it's easier if I leave it closed, because then I can see where the square is. So get some lengths of tear and tape. Oops, a little bit too long. Because we've got to make sure that it stays put, especially because it doesn't open all the way, and someone may inadvertently give it a little bit of a harsh tug, and we don't want that. We don't want it to pop out or tear or anything. So now we've got the tear and tape on the back. Whoops, overlapped myself a little bit there. Pull all the backing papers off, and because we've already gone ahead and stuck the greeting on the inside, you do need to make sure that you have it the right way up. So it goes as a triangle across, and what we do is line it up between the 2 creases and the top and the bottom evenly. It's more important really to get it lined up across than it is up and down. And then when this closes, it closes onto the gatefolds of the card. And then what we need to do is make sure that this stays stuck to this piece when it opens. And I found the best way to do that was to use the liquid glue. You can put more tear and tape on. It does need to be a pretty strong adhesive, as you can imagine, because this is going to be doing all the pulling as it opens. So the nice thing about the liquid glue is it just has a little bit of give, so we can pop that one on there and that one on there, and just give it a quick second to dry. Close my glue, and then you'll see it's stuck to the edges, and even though this bows a little bit, it doesn't tear or come up or anything, because that's what we don't want. So next trick is to do the belly band. As I say, it's 10 inches by 1 inch, and what you need to do is fold it, but you don't want it so tight that you can't get it off, but you don't want it so slack that it falls off. So kind of, you can sort of feel if it will go up and down. And then we just need to put some more tear and tape on this side, because it does need to stay together. So we'll just put a couple of pieces of the strong tear and tape on there. Peel the backing papers off so we can close it nicely. And put it where you think it's going to slide gently. And then what we need to do, is pop our lovely circle on the front. And again, I'm just going to use tear and tape. I don't think it's going to get pulled on very much, but you never know. So we'll pop a bit of tear and tape on the top and the bottom of that. And as you will see, the seam is at the front, but that's because this circle is going to go over it and hide the join. And then last but not least, I'm going to bring in the lovely In Colour Shimmer Gems and put one of each coordinating colour on each of the flowers. What do we need now? Pretty and pink. And there you have it, two the same. So this is how it is when it's closed, fits inside a standard envelope. And this is how it looks when it's open with a little space for signing. And then the belly band goes over and keeps it all together. And there you have it. If you like what you've seen, please consider subscribing. Give me a thumbs up. I do appreciate thumbs up. As I mentioned, all the directions and dimensions will be on my blog, so you can check those out there. And last but not least, thanks so much for watching.